Alright, I'm here on Sunday before Memorial Day, and we're doing a brisket for the first time on the pit barrel cooker. And my goal in this video is to be super brief. You've seen people start charcoal fires, you've seen people rub briskets, you've seen people trim, you've seen people do all the prep stuff. I already have the brisket in the smoker. I'm going to quickly tell you what I did today. Like a few other people I've seen online, I've had some problems getting my temperature just right with the pit barrel. It's not bad, but I have had to put a little piece of tin foil under the lid to just crack it a tiny little bit to give me a little more airflow to keep that temperature up closer to 300, or else it falls off pretty quickly. Today what I've tried is lighting the coals separately, like they say, dumping the lit coals in on the unburnt coals, and I'm going to try and I let that go for probably close to 15 minutes to just try and get those coals going really hot. I've already got my brisket prepped. I had an 18.5 pounder. Now be careful if you're buying a really big brisket because it's too long for the pit barrel. So my brisket ended up being about 21 inches long. I could have fit it in there just cutting off 2 or 3 inches of the brisket, but I don't want to cook 2 or 3 inches of a brisket. So I basically separated most of the flat from the point. Unfortunately, I had to do that, but that was the only way to get it in there. Not disappointed in the pit barrel. I mean, that's not their fault. I just that was the only brisket left, and brisket is down under $3 a pound here right now, which is phenomenal. I was on the East Coast a few months ago, and they're paying between $7 and $8 a pound for brisket, which is outrageous. But I got it for just under $3 a pound, so couldn't turn it down for Memorial Day weekend. Have it on the cooker now. As you can see, I went ahead and put 2 hooks in the flat. I'm paranoid. I don't want to lose a brisket into the fire. I've never done one in here before. I did Noah's double hook method on the point, and I know it's probably hard to see, but the point extends further down into the grill than the flat does, because like I said, I just cut off that much of the flat, probably 4 to 5 pounds, and I probably got about 11 or 12 pounds on that point back there, minus the trimmings that I cut off. So the charcoal is going really well. I'm about to put a probe thermometer in the grill itself just to see what the temperature is in there, and see if we can stabilize it and keep it up high like I like it, around 275, 300. And you can hear some whining in the background. That's the new Bernese mountain puppy, Grizz, who is he's looking forward to some brisket tomorrow, aren't you, buddy? Yeah, you like that brisket. He's gonna get some too. Again, the purpose of this video is not just to show you how to smoke a brisket in the pit barrel. Everybody and their brother has a video about that online that you can find. I'm not trying to do typical pit barrel videos. I'm trying to show you some nuanced how-to videos, and in this one it's basically what to do, and this was by accident, but what to do if my brisket is too long to fit in the smoker. So that's what we're doing today. We're seeing how the split brisket, how a huge brisket does in the pit barrel cooker. Remember, we had an 18.5 pounder that was 21 inches long. So if you got a brisket that was too big for your pit barrel like I did, here's how to do it. Or maybe here's how not to do it. Alright, we are 2.5 hours in. Just got back from our appointment and came to check it. And we're really dropping in temperature. I'm still a little bit frustrated with the temperatures. This is about my 5th or 6th time using the pit barrel, and I'm at about 700 or 800 feet above sea level here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which I should only have to have this open about a quarter to do what it's supposed to do. I have it open, if that's not halfway, that's really close to being halfway. And so that's really frustrating to me, how I just haven't been able to get the temperature to stay up in the 275 range. At only 2.5 hours in, charcoal is not a problem, so obviously it's airflow. So I'm just going to do what I've been doing. I'm going to tuck a little piece of tin foil right under the lip of that lid just to lift it a hair. You can't even see a gap unless you got down underneath and looked back up towards the lid. But I'm going to try that trick, and hopefully we can get her back up in the 275 range. Alright, after 10 more minutes, we've successfully brought the temperature up to the 280 range. It's been fluctuating between 280, 281. all I did, you can't even tell there's an air gap. The lid looks just like normal. But I just tucked a little piece of tin foil right here so you can see, and actually, the fact that you can see that much air gap is actually even more than I normally do. This is pretty thick. Normally I do a thinner piece of tin foil where you can barely even tell the lid. You really can't tell the lid is cracked unless you look up underneath it usually. But I was frustrated with it being down in the 250s, and I want to get that temperature up to 275, between 275 and 300. So I want to be a little more aggressive with my tin foil. It might mean the charcoal burns up a little bit quicker, but we'll see. I've never done a smoke this long, so we'll see what the effects are. If I need to add a little more charcoal at the end, it's not the end of the world. You can see we're up in the 284 range. If it hits 300, I'll probably put a thinner piece of tin foil in there and just let it finish out with that on there. I just cannot get it to stay at 275 to 300 without a piece of tin foil in there. I got both rebars in, so that shouldn't be a problem. It's supposed to be able to hold that temperature with both rebars in. I'm really tempted to take one out and see what that does, but right now I'm using both of them with the hooks, so that'll have to be for a future smoke. Anyhow, you probably have to tinker with it. You want a one-size-fits-all solution for everything, but that's just not reality sometimes. So you have to tinker with the pit barrel a little bit at your sea level and do what works best. So don't freak out and don't be the customer that complains about every little thing. It is a charcoal smoker. It's not going to be set it and forget it, but it is probably about as close as you're going to get to that with a charcoal smoker as opposed to electric or gas. And I want to use charcoal, so I'm willing to have some fluctuation there, but just be aware that you might have to make those kinds of alterations. All right, we're just at 4.5 hours on the brisket. It's probably, I don't remember, an hour and a half or so since the last time I checked. And unfortunately, in that time, we've dropped all the way down to 217 degrees, which is really frustrating. There's got to be something that I'm doing wrong. I'm not blaming the pit barrel at all. But I've always had this problem since I've had it with low temperatures. I know some of you are running high and hot. I don't understand that. I'm only at 700-800 feet, like I said, so this vent should only have to be a quarter open. I've got it closer to half open, and I still can't get high enough temps. I'm still having to. I had put a thinner piece of tin foil in after the last video. But I ended up putting this thick one back in, the same one you saw earlier, to get that nice gap there and hopefully get the temperature back up. Currently, I've got it back up to 235 and slowly climbing. There's plenty of charcoal still in there, so low charcoal isn't a problem. And again, at 4.5 hours, you would hope charcoal wouldn't be a problem when it's supposed to, that tray is supposed to last for at least 8. And by the looks of things in there, I have over half my charcoal left. The problem is airflow. It's not burning like it should. And so I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. If I need to just resign myself to always cooking with a piece of tin foil gapping the lid, or if pulling one of the rebars out is the answer. But again, then you're cutting down on your cooking capacity. So I know it's something I'm doing wrong. I know it's not pit barrel's fault. I'm not complaining. But it is frustrating nonetheless to always have low temps, because when I'm only checking every hour and a half or so and it drops that much, it's costing me a ton of time. I mean, brisket takes long enough as it is. So to have additional time added because of low temps is problematic. Anyways, I'll keep you posted as the cook continues, and hopefully, like they claim, brisket is done quicker than it usually is using other means of cooking. I hope that's true, because it's already 6:30 in the evening here, and I don't want to be out here past 11 or midnight, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, we are just at about 7 hours on the brisket. You can see we're at 283-ish, but after my last video, right after I turned the video camera off in my frustration, I went ahead and added some fresh lit coals. I was making barbecue chicken on the grill anyways, so I saved probably about 20-30 lit coals and added them in there to get the temperature up, and that so far has worked. It was above 300 for a while. Now it's, like I said, just under 300. But we're going to get a temperature here. Last time I checked a little over an hour ago, we were at 170 on this smaller brisket, the flat portion. And right now we're getting up above 180. So just about 15 more degrees to go. We want to be right around 200. Then on this one we were at 155 an hour ago, and it looks like we've climbed about 10 degrees or so, a little more. So that one will take quite a bit longer, a couple more hours at least, maybe 3. I'm not big on wrapping my brisket while it's cooking. I've always preferred to just cook it until it's where you want it, or just a hair shy, maybe 195, and take it off and wrap it for about 4 to 5 hours is what I do. A lot of guys only do 1 hour. I usually cook it till it's where I want it, wrap it for 4 hours in heavy foil in an ice chest wrapped in towels, and then slice her up and eat her. Now, we're obviously smoking at the end of the day here. This is for tomorrow. Today's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday, Memorial Day. So I'm actually going to wrap this up tonight and put it in the fridge, and we will just slowly warm it up in the oven tomorrow while it's wrapped with all those juices still in there. I've never done it that way before, but doing it out of necessity this time because I didn't have time. I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. on Memorial Day and smoke it. Alright, it is midnight, and we've been at it for 10 hours now. What you didn't see is I came out a couple hours ago and pulled that small portion off. I was able to get it up to about 185, 10 degrees short of where I would have liked it, but frankly I wanted to taste it, so I pulled it, and it was delicious. The temperature was still up in the 270 range then. Over the last couple hours it's dropped dramatically, but doesn't really matter to me because we're pretty much done cooking. I'm going to take one final temp. Sorry for the terrible video, but I'm trying to do this one-handed here with a puppy that is not on a leash. So we'll stick that in there. See where we get to. We're up to 175, 176. Not nearly as hot as I would prefer it, but it's midnight and I'm ready to pack it in and call it a night. I'm not that hardcore. So by the time we wrap that and let it rest, that'll probably get up into the mid 180s, which it's fine. It's doable. It'll still be a tasty, tender brisket. Won't be quite as hot as I would have preferred, but at this point I am willing to call it a wrap. And tomorrow, I guess today now, is going to be delicious. That first chunk I pulled off a couple hours ago was pretty amazing. Good smoke ring and all that. If I remember tomorrow when we heat it back up, I'll let you know how that goes, because that could be interesting as well. And I'll let you know what it tasted like, and show you the smoke ring, maybe make you drool a little bit, and wish you were here. Alright, we are here on Monday. Just a quick little summary for you. We did this 18.5 pound brisket, and we split it in half, 2/3 and 1/3 actually, to fit in the pit barrel smoker. And that's the finished product. This is the point, which is the fatter, bigger section of the brisket. It looks delicious. And this is the flat one here. You kind of get a little picture on that. So we'll heat these back up. I will heat them up in tin foil in my electric smoker with no smoke. Just put them in there at 250 or 275 for maybe an hour, wrapped up real tight, and slice them up here in about an hour, hour and a half after they're heated up, and be good to go. Looks delicious. We tasted it last night. It was amazing. So you can cut them, and it does work out, and it was delicious. So hopefully we figure out the temperature problems on the pit barrel, but other than that, everything worked out good.